大家好，欢迎来到我的频道。看完黄仁勋最新一期1月16日的深度访谈，和之前其他访谈不同，这次他几乎没怎么聊2023年后的 AI 爆大式增长 Blackwell 芯片，股价狂飙，市值神话。相反，大部分时间都在回溯 NVIDIA 从1993年到2023年那漫长煎熬的33年，那些差点死掉无数次的日子，那些被嘲笑、被忽视、被边缘化的岁月，以及他个人从9岁移民肯塔基被霸凌的小男孩，到成为 AI 教父的内心历程。他反复强调两套反直觉底层逻辑：痛苦才是企业性格的锻造炉。英伟达不是靠天才算法或运气活下来的，而是靠被痛苦反复锤炼出来的 corporate character 企业性格。他讲了3次差点破产的经历，酷大战略33年里只有少数人信的孤独，团队内部架构之争的撕裂，客户跑路，资金链断裂。每一次痛苦都在逼着公司进化。最反常识的一句，我们从不炒掉犯错的人，痛苦才是铸就伟大的东西。他甚至说，公司有61个 CEO， 每个人都要像 CEO 一样独立思考，承担后果，在痛苦中成长。这不是管理架构，这是性格工厂。回想 NVIDIA 的路径，从游戏显卡起步，被 AI 简陋式爆发，但其实33年里，他们一直在为一个还没到来的未来死磕基础设施。痛苦不是副产品，而是主线。
How teams come together during adversity. I mean, people see us just kind of strolling through life, but getting Grace Blackwell into production almost broke our company's back, but we wouldn't let it. It is just extraordinarily complicated and incredibly large scale, and the expectations were incredible. And for us to live up to it and exceed it, with it almost breaking our back, that's 100% character.
Right.
That's not intelligence. That's not hard work. There are a lot of people that work hard. There are a lot of people that are super smart. That is 100% character. And where that comes from, you can't interview that into existence, you know. And the thing that I believe is this: I actually kind of believe that you can bring almost anybody into NVIDIA, and we will instill character into you. And that, I think, is the magic of our company, that somehow we could suffer pain, and we can endure incredible challenges and come out of the other side.
Right.
And we could do it over and over and over again. And very few companies can do that as a team. Usually somebody gets left behind. You know, usually what happens is you go through one of these incredible challenges, and then somebody leaves because of a bad feeling, or because they were blamed and they were fired, or they were they somehow felt it's always, by the way, it's always somebody's fault. I don't want to, you know, let's be clear about building companies and teams. At the end of the game, we lost as a team, but there's no question who dropped the pass. Okay. And so we have to be clear about that. And we are clear about that. And because we have such a safe environment, all the people who drop passes in the past, including myself, and I've dropped plenty of passes, and the passes I drop, you know, everybody's watching. Nobody's been fired for dropping passes. And so this company has developed a culture, a personality, a lot of it reflecting our own, that tolerance and forgiveness and learning from mistakes. And so long as maybe a couple of things that's really super important to me, so long as the teammates gave everything of themselves, that's good enough for me.
So is that, I mean, you have a reputation for really not liking to fire people, and hopefully no one likes to fire people. But so that's your theory, that you have to make these people better, or your team has to make them better.
Yeah, like the company made me better. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't then what I am today. and what I know today, no volume encyclopedia could hold it. And if somebody were to ask me what did I learn over at NVIDIA and write a book, I wouldn't even know where to start, and so this company gave me the chance to become what I am. And this company also gave the entire management team the opportunity to become what they are. And I got to tell you, 100% of those 60 people are different today than they were when they started. Mm-hmm. I can tell you they're great today. We were fine in the beginning. We're good in the beginning, like anybody else. And so the company tortured greatness out of us. And the company forged incredible character into us. That's the magic of this company. Mm-hmm. That you could do that, not lose the person, and the company not giving up on you simultaneously. That's our greatness, I think. And can you hire people into that? Yes, I believe so. And I've proven repeatedly that we've done that. And the people that come in, they're good. And I see them and I'm good and they're good. So long as I enjoy working with them, they can't be a jerk. And so long as they can't be self-serving, they can't be, I can't work with people that can't answer simple questions. That's my trigger. To the extent that they really want to be part of the team, they can be transparent, they can be vulnerable, and they can learn. They don't have to know it all. They just have to learn it all, and to the extent that all of that is true, we'll forge greatness into them. Who's the smartest person I've ever met? I can't answer that question. And I know what people are thinking. The definition of smart is somebody who's intelligent, solve problems, technical. But I find that that's a commodity. And we're about to prove that artificial intelligence is able to handle that part easiest.
Right.
Yeah. And so as it turns out, let me give you another example. Everybody thought software programming is the ultimate smart profession. Look, what is the first thing that AI is solving? Software programming. And so it turns out that the definition of smart is very different than most people think. And I think long-term, the definition of smart, and my personal definition of smart is someone who sits at that intersection of being technically astute, but human empathy and understand and having the ability to infer the unspoken, around the corners, the unknowables. People who are able to see around corners are truly, truly smart, and their value is incredible. To be able to preempt problems before they show up, just because you feel the vibe, and the vibe came from a combination of data analysis, first principle, life experience, wisdom, sensing other people. Mm-hmm. That vibe, I think that's smart. That I think is going to be the future definition of smart. And that person might actually score horribly on the SAT.
Right. Okay, what is your favorite vacation spot?
Wherever my family is and wherever we're cooking, having cocktail.
Okay.
But if I had to name two places, one place or two, it's hard for me. But I can tell it's my favorite vacation spot because I know I'm happy landing. I'm always happy landing in Hawaii.
Okay.
And because we're typically together. I'm really happy when we land in Taiwan. And the reason for that is because the people are great. I've got really important partners there and long-term friendships there, and my family's oftentimes with me. I'm genuinely happy when I land in Japan.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I have very, very long memories of Japan and how important it was to saving our company and the early business trips that I've been there. Even though business-wise, largely unproductive over the years, I still and somehow have great joy landing there. And so maybe those are kind of three places. And my family's oftentimes with me when I'm landing.
无知是一种罕见的超能力。黄仁勋说，如果他29岁那年就知道创办 NVIDIA 会经历这么多痛苦，这么多失败，这么多濒死时刻，他很可能根本不会开始。但也正因为当时的无知，不知道不可能，不知道多难，不知道会死多少回，他才敢义无反顾的 all in 加速计算。这个在当时看起来荒谬的方向。1993年，世界还沉浸在 PC 革命的余晖里， CPU 是王道， GPU 只是游戏玩具。他却提前几十年活在未来，坚信计算会从通用转向加速，从 CPU 转向 GPU， 从串行转向并行。他把这叫显学的力量，不是偷偷摸摸的赌一个小众技术，而是公开大声坚持说，我们就是要重塑计算。这让我想到一句话，真正改变世界的往往不是最聪明的人，而是那些不知道自己会失败的人。无知不是缺陷，而是创业创新阶段最珍贵的护盾。
Okay, one last question that someone asked me recently, and I love this question. It's if you had to be 20 years old all over again, would you do it today or would you relive in our day?
I would relive it in our day. And the reason for that is because I thought that our 20s was happier than these 20s. And I think everyone deserves some time to be oblivious and not to wear all of the world's problems on their shoulder on day one. I just don't think it's necessary. Nobody can convince me of it otherwise. That there's some joy in ignorance, and there's a superpower in ignorance. NVIDIA, it would not be possible today if not for the fact that I was ignorant to the fact that it's impossible to build NVIDIA.
Right.
In fact, it's impossible to build NVIDIA. You can't build NVIDIA. You just can't. But nobody can convince me otherwise because I didn't know any better. And I think that optimistic people, you can't convince them that they can't make it better. They're so ignorant. They're so oblivious to the truth that they are optimistic. How is that a bad thing? And I feel that we're raising a generation of very cynical, too informed. They're cynical not because they're inherently cynical. They're cynical because they just see so much stuff.
Right.
It's too much stuff. There's time for that. You know, we have to build up some internal reserve of optimism. We have to build up some internal reserve of goodness, that you see only the good. You have to find a way to build up that muscle.
Yeah. We had the opportunity to do that way more than people do today.
Yeah,
sure.
And we did that in our 20s.
Yeah.
When we're optimistic, we're superhuman, and everything was possible, you know. And so that I would choose my early 20s.
Okay. A good note to end on: ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss, and ignorance is a superpower. And anybody who tackles a new adventure, if not for ignorance, they would think it's too hard to even engage it. And I'm really quite fortunate to have been so informed. I was informed and hardworking. You know, I had some capabilities, but the ignorance was helpful to me, and I approached everything with this attitude: how hard can it be? Now it turns out it's really hard.
You have
You have no idea, right? Look at what you built. And if you would have known everything then that you know now, and all the feelings and all the setbacks and all the disappointments, and you bottle all of that up and you put it all in one place, you would never do it, and I would never do it. And so I think the ignorance was a superpower. And then the other thing that's a superpower is having no end game. NVIDIA has no end game. People ask me, Jensen, what's your plan? We don't have one. Staying in business is our plan. We have future dreams of the world, and we imagine how technology would be different, but staying in business is 100% the plan. And somebody asked me once, and I get asked all the time, I guess, Jensen, what are your goals, life goals? I don't have any, just working, staying employed, being able to do good work, surrounded by amazing people. That's the goal. And so in a lot of ways, having no end game is really has been really helpful to NVIDIA.
Okay.
Yeah.
还有那句让我反复回放的金句：要创造未来，就必须在未来发生很久之前就生活在其中。1993年的黄仁勋就已经在活2026年的世界，他不是预测未来，而是直接把公司活成未来的样子，哪怕当时所有人觉得他疯了，这才是真正的远见。不是写 PPT 预测趋势，而是用33年的痛苦、坚持、无知去把未来提前实现。看完后最大的感触是，我们今天羡慕的爆发式成功，往往是别人在黑暗中熬了10年、20年、30年的结果。英伟达的奇迹不是2023年突然降临的，而是从1993年起，一天天、一场场痛苦堆出来的。而我们大多数人恰恰在知道太多的时候就退缩了，知道风险大，知道竞争烈，知道大概率失败，于是选择舒适区。黄仁勋用33年告诉我们：追无知让你敢开始，追痛苦让你能活下来，去活在未来让你配得上成功。最后借用他的话收尾：熬得住痛苦，才配得上巅峰。在 AI 时代，我们每个人都在被逼着活在未来，或许该问问自己，我是否愿意为一个还没到来的世界先痛苦33年。本期内容就到这里，觉得有用就点个赞支持，欢迎订阅并打开小铃铛获取最新更新。评论区欢迎留言讨论你的看法，我们下期再见。